I never knew my life would fall apart the way it did. There was a day I sat on the floor of the tiny box room I was staying with my 2 children asleep beside me, and I just broke down. I felt abandoned, ashamed, and completely terrified. How did I get here? How was I supposed to rebuild when I had nothing left, not even hope? But what I didn't know in that moment was that God was about to rewrite my story in ways that I could not imagine. And if you are in a season of brokenness right now, this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to share how faith transformed my life step by step. If you stay with me, you will walk away with practical tools and spiritual insights you need to start on your own journey of rebuilding from broken to believing. The day I finally walked away from my marriage, I had no idea what was waiting for me on the other side. However, I knew I couldn't continue to stay in a place where I was constantly being broken down. So I left. But like I said in my other videos, leaving didn't immediately bring relief. My boys and I moved into a tiny box room in my friend's house where we had no privacy, no space, and no certainty about the future. Every single night, I would lie awake crying and wondering if I had made a mistake. I felt like I had failed as a wife, as a mother, and generally as a woman. And the fear of that, it was suffocating. Bills were piling up. I didn't have a stable job yet because I had childcare and I had school run to do, so I stuck to flexible jobs. And the weight of being the sole provider was overwhelming. I was drowning and I couldn't see a way out. It just felt like everything was closing up on me. One night, after the boys had slept and the anxiety was too heavy to bear, I reached out for my Bible. I'll be honest, because of the things that I was going through at the time, I hadn't read my Bible in months because I was just going with the flow. I was numb, I was just trying to make a living, I was trying to survive, and the last thing that was on my mind at the moment was sitting down and really diving into God's words. But in my desperation on this particular night, I opened Isaiah 41:10, which says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hands." In the moment, it felt like those words were written just for me. In the moment, I realized that I didn't have to carry this alone. God was offering me strength on a platter of nothing. All I had to do was to take his hands. I cried that night, a deep, gut-wrenching cry, because I was reminded that I had been suffering all this while when I had God to help me. That night, I also prayed like I hadn't prayed in years. And for the first time in a long time, I felt a tiny spark of hope. You know how we are when things are going smooth, we're excited to the point where we can forget to pray. But this night, I prayed like everything depended on me praying. Here is what the rebuilding process looked like. Step 1, I surrendered control. The first thing I had to do was to let go of the need to control everything. I mentioned it in this video here in 2021 when I filmed that video. I mentioned that I had to relinquish control of everything to God, because in the past months, I had been trying to control everything, but it kept falling apart. So in this moment, I decided, God, I am handing it all to you. Do whatever you want with this situation. I knew that I wanted answers, I wanted security at the time, but faith requires trust, and trust in God. I started every day with prayer, not asking God to fix everything overnight, but asking him to guide my steps, and he did just that. And 4 years later, look at where we are right now. Giving up control to God is the first thing you want to do on your rebuilding journey. Allow him to lead you on the right path. He will give you wisdom. He will show you where to go. Let him take the reign of your life. Wherever he says you go, you go. You wanting to control everything is going to make your anxiety worse. It's going to make everything worse. So relinquish control. Let go and let God. How you can apply this? Start your mornings with surrender. Write a prayer of trust, even if you don't feel it yet. Step number 2, taking action in faith. We all know that faith without work is dead. So While I trusted God, I also moved my feet according to His directions. I revived my membership as a chartered accountant, and I also retrained as a project management professional. 2 skills I knew would open doors. And when the time came, the 2 of them became my saving grace. I landed a job that changed everything for my family. How you can apply it? Ask yourself, what skill do I have that can be monetized? Or what skill do I have that needs to be developed? Also ask yourself, what skill can I develop today that is in alignment with where God is leading you? These questions will make it possible for you to understand the skills that you currently have that needs to be revamped, so that when it is time for transition, you are equipped and ready. Step number 3, creating an atmosphere of faith. Our environment shapes everything. Our environment shapes our mindsets. I filled my space with worship music. For those of you that follow me on social media, you know that I became really invested. We started to do the song of the week. I became really invested in songs that uplifted my spirit and kept my focus on God. Daily affirmations and Bible verses that I write on post-it notes and put on my mirrors and walls around my house. Even when I didn't feel strong, seeing those things and those visual cues everywhere kept my focus on God and reminded me of His promises to me. How you can apply it today? Start to curate your environment. By environment, this includes social media. One of the things you don't want to do is to continue to consume content that push you further away from God. I sat down and cleaned out my social media of things that took my mind, my face, my thoughts away from everything that was pointing to God. So curate your environment, not just your physical environment, even your online environment, to enable you keep your focus on God and be reminded of His promises for your life. Because what you see and hear daily should reflect the hope that you are believing God for. Step number 4 in my rebuilding phase was building community and seeking support. I started to make new friends intentionally and creating community that was supportive of everything that I stood for. I also created a Bible study group, which is a community of women who prayed and held me up whenever I felt weak. That group became my lifeline. How you can apply it right now? My advice to you is to not isolate yourself. Find faith-based communities to belong to, even if it is online. And if you can't find one, I am challenging you, start one. I am not going to sit here and say that the rebuilding phase was very easy peasy and it was straightforward. There were obstacles and there were challenges along the way, which I wish that I knew beforehand. However, I'm going to be sharing some of it with you. There were so many days I still had doubt. Days when the bills scared me and when loneliness crept in. But every single time fear tried to take over, I went back to what God had promised me and what He had already done. I mean, He had already provided a home, a job, and ultimately, peace that passeth all understanding. Why should He stop now? If you're currently facing setbacks, I want you to remember, setbacks are not a sign that God has left you. Sometimes they are even set up for a greater testimony. Today, my life looks completely different. We have our own beautiful and warm home, furnished bit by bit with love and creativity. My boys are thriving. And me, I am not just surviving. I am walking in purpose, hand in hand with God. If you want practical tips on how I furnished our home on a budget, check this video on that. I promise it will inspire you. If you are in a season of brokenness, know this: God has not forgotten you. Your story is not over. Start with one small step today. Write down one thing you're trusting God for, and then take one action towards it. I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you're believing God for right now? Drop it in the comments. Let's stand in faith with one another. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share it with someone who needs this encouragement of faith in this season. Turn on notification because I have more coming and you do not want to miss out. I love to hear from you and I love to connect with you on my subscriber. If you prefer to send me an email, my email will be somewhere in the description box. If you prefer social media, my Instagram DM is always open. I am at Gregory-jonah on all social media platforms. Hit the follow button, let's connect. Send me a DM, I promise to reply by myself. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye everyone.